When my brother, yeah, that's good. Okay. When my brother Harrison was born, I was so excited to be a big sister. I loved him more than anything in the world. I would make up games with colors and numbers to play with him every day. My brother started developing like any normal kid. He began to crawl, then walk. He spoke his first words, then began stringing together a few words into fragment sentences. However, when he was about 18 months, this all changed. In the matter of a few days, my parents saw a drastic change in Harrison's behavior. He became mute, not making a sound for weeks. If you waved your hand in front of his face, he wouldn't flinch. Looking into his eyes, no life would look back at you. When my parents took him to the doctor originally told my parents that they were overreacting and nothing was wrong. Then, when no one was looking, the doctor slammed the cabinet as loud as he could, making both of my parents jump. My brother didn't move an inch. All the doctor could say was, "Oh my God, I am so, so sorry." This marked my brother's diagnosis with severe regressive autism. At the age of 20 months, Harrison began to cry. Not the cry of a complaining child, but the cry of someone in great distress and pain. However, he couldn't talk to tell us what was wrong. Even more heartbreaking, he refused to let us touch him to comfort and console him. He would just cry all day and all night, because my brother, like many other people with autism, had a very hard time sleeping. To this day, my parents both take shifts staying up with him in the night because he can only sleep for a few hours at a time. During his earlier years, Harrison would sleep for a maximum of 2 hours a night, followed by 4 or 5 hours awake and crying. Instead of catching back up on their sleep during the day, my dad would go to work and I would accompany my mom as she would drive my brother over an hour away to a special preschool for kids with autism and other developmental disorders. Once Harrison was about 3.5 years old, he had his first EEG. For those of you who don't know, an EEG is a test in which doctors place electrodes all over the patient's skull to record brainwaves. My parents wanted to figure out what was going on in my brother's brain that may have caused him to have autism. Although the results came with nothing telling, the experience was a milestone for my family. While he was in the hospital, with many wires attached to his head and bandages to hold them in place, this was the first time in 2 years that my brother let anyone hold him. As you can imagine, it was very heartbreaking for my family not to be able to comfort my brother when he was in obvious pain. And to this day, my dad remembers Harrison's first EEG as one of his happiest memories. Like many other kids with autism, my brother has experienced and still experiences various sensory issues. People with autism often have heightened reactions to sensory stimuli that a normal person would not have even noticed. From the ages of 2 to 4, the only thing my brother would eat were chicken nuggets because he could not handle the taste or textures of foods. As he would eat, his hands would shake as he placed the chicken nugget as far back on his tongue as he could possibly reach, so that he could experience the taste and textures of the food for the shortest amount of time as possible. Another very big sensory issue that Harrison faces is wearing clothes, because he has a hard time coping with the touch of clothes on his skin. The textures of any types of clothing that we would normally find comfortable, such as cotton, fleece, or nylon, can be very irritating to people with autism. Even the act of wearing clothes can be extremely uncomfortable for them. To this day, my brother still struggles with wearing clothes for a whole day at a time. Like many other people with autism, Harrison struggles with the sensation of sound. When my brother was about 6 years old, my family was in Costco and Harrison became very upset. Through trial and error, we figured out that the hum of fluorescent lights in Costco bothered my brother. Very often, my brother will wear noise-canceling headphones to block out the sound of the loudest and softest stimuli. Although my brother has overcome many obstacles, he still struggles with having accidents. Daily, Harrison will urinate while sitting on the couch fully dressed or on his bed. We have to have plastic covers over all of our furniture in our beds so that when an accident occurs, the furniture isn't destroyed. Even at the age of 13, Harrison is not potty trained, so he still wears diapers to bed and will usually ask for one during the day when he needs to go to the bathroom. Frequently, I find myself in the awkward position of changing my brother's diaper. That being said, as a sibling of someone with autism, I could never imagine life without Harrison exactly the way he is. When I was younger, we would go out into public. Harrison would often make weird or loud noises because he cannot communicate with us. Without fail, people would stare, point, and whisper about us. I often became very upset because I felt that my family could never go out without being mocked. I'm sure that all of us in the audience are not guiltless when it comes to judging and mocking people we don't know, just because they look or act different. While it is natural to think that the parents don't know how to control their kids when you see that a child is acting out in public, we need to give the family the benefit of the doubt. Perhaps the child is maintaining his or her composure to the best of their ability. The best thing to do in these situations is to stay out of their way and smile. I have learned so much more from my brother than I could have ever hoped. He has taught me to be a much more loving, caring, and patient person than I would have been without him. How many people in this room can honestly say that they've never had a fight or an argument with their sibling? Private schools for kids with autism are vital in helping them grow socially and developmentally. Because of his private placement, my brother has been able to meaningfully participate in group educational settings, allowing him to form relationships and friendships with his peers. Similarly, Harrison has been able to receive an iPad from the school district with an app on it called Touch Chat. On this app, Harrison is able to make basic requests such as, "I want to drink water," and "I want to go for a wheelchair ride." Although he has a long way to go before being able to fully communicate with us, this is a huge step for Harrison, because before he had an iPad, we could only guess what he wanted. Now, Harrison has much more independence in making his own choices. In addition, private schools teach crucial life skills for daily living that we often take for granted. For example, at school, Harrison is working on learning to brush his own teeth. Other kids learn basic grooming activities along with home activities, such as making your bed and making a sandwich. Private schools, such as Alexander Lee, constantly fundraise because most students, like my brother, need a one-on-one aid along with the head teacher, assistant teacher, speech teacher, occupational therapist, music therapist, nurse, medical aides, and much more. Although these schools cost tens of thousands of dollars per year, they often have a hard time making ends meet. The specialized therapists, instructors, and all of the necessary supports that need to be in place for each individual student typically exceed what the school brings in from tuition, causing the school to go into debt if they don't find an alternative source of funding. This is why this year's Charity Bash is so important. It is up to us as a school to join together to help support the students of Alexander Lee. Although I've told you about Harrison's autism, everyone's autism is different. Some people are very vocal, some talk a lot, some don't talk at all. Some people with autism have meltdowns if their daily schedule changes, while others, like my brother, like experiencing new things. Every person with autism has their own little tics that upset them and things that motivate them. You could easily meet 100 people with autism and no two would be the same. The thing that binds these people is the overwhelming love they give to everyone they meet.